So you're thinking about buying a DJI Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 because you've heard it's the legendary drone, the king of the skies for photographers. You're expecting professional 4K footage, effortless flight, and that iconic DJI reliability. But here's what surprised me after flying this drone for months. It's a masterpiece plagued by some serious, potentially costly flaws. Therefore, before you spend your money, you need to hear this honest review about the problems that could make this drone a regret. For the best price, click the link in the description. Let's start with the undeniable brilliance, the reason this drone is so famous. The camera is phenomenal. That 1-inch 20MP sensor captures stunning detail, and shooting 4K at 60 frames per second gives you incredibly smooth, cinematic footage. The 5-direction obstacle sensing is like having a nervous co-pilot that constantly saves you from trees, walls, and your own questionable piloting decisions. And that 30-minute flight time. In the drone world, that's like having an eternal battery. It feels like a spaceship. But here's the first major twist. This spaceship comes with a launch system that feels like it's from the 1990s. The remote controller. It's bulky, it's heavy, and it uses that older style of clamp to hold your phone. Setting up your phone feels fiddly compared to the sleek, integrated screens of newer DJI models like the Mavic 3. The promise is a 7 km control range, which is insane, but in real-world use, maintaining a clear signal requires almost perfect conditions. It's powerful, but it's not as streamlined as you'd expect for a pro device. Therefore, your first interaction with this professional tool might feel surprisingly unprofessional. It's like showing up to a Formula One race in a monster truck. Sure, it's powerful, but is it graceful? Now, let's talk about the pro in the name. This drone is designed for serious work. The ActiveTrack subject following and tap-fly point-to-point navigation are incredibly smart features for capturing dynamic shots. But here's the problem that many users hit, and it's a big one: the gimbal. That magical camera stabilizer is notoriously fragile. A hard landing, a minor crash, or even just aggressive maneuvering can lead to gimbal errors. You'll see gimbal motor overload messages, and the camera starts twitching like it's having a panic attack. Repairing it isn't a simple DIY fix. It often means sending it back to DJI, and that costs both time and money. Imagine this. You're on a paid shoot, you've set up a perfect ActiveTrack shot, and suddenly your camera is jerking around, ruining the footage. That's not just a problem, it's a professional disaster. Therefore, the very tool that enables your pro work has a critical weakness that can disable it entirely. It's the equivalent of a race car with a transmission made of glass. You're going fast, but you're constantly waiting for the crunch. And here's a joke for you. This drone is so smart, it can avoid obstacles, but it can't avoid its own most common mechanical failure. Talk about an ironic plot twist. Let's dive into the flight experience itself. The 30-minute battery life is a true blessing. You get more time to compose your shots, more time to explore. The smart return home that avoids obstacles is a lifesaver, but therefore you start to trust it. You push it further. And then you encounter the second significant issue: wind handling. The Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 is a large drone. It's stable, but in moderate to strong wind it struggles. It buffets, it drifts, and that battery life seems to evaporate as it fights to hold position. For a drone of this size and price, you'd expect it to be a rock in the sky. Instead, in challenging conditions, it can feel like a leaf. This matters because the best footage often comes from interesting weather, not just calm, sunny days. Therefore, one of its core promises, reliable, professional performance, can be compromised by something as common as a breeze. It's like hiring a bodyguard who's great in a quiet room but gets nervous in a crowded street. Not exactly the pro-level confidence you're paying for. Let's look at the package from the Amazon listing. It often comes with nice extras like extra SD cards, a card reader, a cleaning cloth. That's a good bundle. but therefore you think you're getting a complete ready-to-fly pro kit. However, there's a hidden cost: accessories. This drone is old enough that many of its specific accessories, like additional batteries or certain filters, are becoming harder to find and more expensive. The ecosystem is shrinking as DJI focuses on newer models. So while the initial kit seems generous, the long-term support and add-ons are a growing concern. Owning this drone can feel like owning a classic car. It's beautiful and performs well when tuned, but finding parts is a scavenger hunt. And here's another joke: buying extra batteries for this drone is so expensive, it feels like you're purchasing tiny gold bricks, not lithium polymer. You start wondering if the battery is powering the drone or your retirement fund. Now the Amazon rating is 4.2 stars. That's solid. But when you dig into the top reviews, you see a pattern. Praise for the image quality and flight time is universal. However, the negative reviews consistently highlight the gimbal issues, the bulkiness, and the cost of maintenance. These aren't one-off complaints, they're repeated experiences. Therefore, the high rating might reflect its legendary status and peak performance, but the lower-scored reviews reveal the consistent pain points that actual users face day to day. It's a tale of two drones: the dream and the reality. Considering all this, where does that leave us? The DJI Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 is not a bad drone. In fact, for its image quality and certain intelligent features, it's still exceptional. But it is a drone with very specific and significant problems that you must weigh against your needs. Therefore, the resolution to this review isn't a simple "don't buy." It's a conditional verdict. If you are a hobbyist who wants the absolute best image quality from a few years ago and you're willing to baby the drone, treat it like a fragile museum piece and accept its bulky form, it could be for you. But if you are a working professional who needs reliability, durability, and a streamlined workflow for client work, the risks are too high. The gimbal fragility alone is a deal-breaker for many pros. Therefore, for professional use, I'd say look at the newer DJI offerings like the Mavic 3 series. They are more portable, more robust, and have better integrated controllers. For the hobbyist with a love for classic tech, it might be a fun, albeit expensive, project. But remember, drone tech has advanced. This model represents a peak in an older generation. It's like using a DSLR when mirrorless cameras are available. It still works beautifully, but it comes with legacy baggage. And a final joke: this drone's obstacle avoidance is so good, it should use it to avoid its own repair center, because you'll be visiting it often. So, should you buy the DJI Phantom 4 Pro V2.0? The honest answer is probably no for most people today. Its problems are real and impactful. The gimbal issues, the wind handling, the bulky remote, and the aging ecosystem add friction to what should be a seamless flying experience. Therefore, my final recommendation is to spend your money on a more modern drone that delivers on the promise without the hidden pitfalls. You'll get better reliability, often better portability, and peace of mind. For the best prices on current, reliable drone options, click the link in the description. Don't let the legend blind you to the flaws.